Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 25th of December, that's Christmas Day, and the 29th of December, 2023. Can you believe it? 2023 is nearly at a close. Oh, what a year it's been. What a year it's been for EastEnders. Oh, I loved it. Joining me, as usual, is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you this fine day?
All right, Rob, how are you? More
Well,
importantly.
I'm all right. I've for the third time I managed to get COVID. So right now I don't look too bad, I don't think. I've been assured by
You
Ree, by
don't.
my
You
colleague,
don't.
but I sound sexy.
I didn't actually, that wasn't my words.
No, that was mine, but I just helped you. I helped you along to get there.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm all right. I'll be absolutely fine. So hi, you may remember seeing us on Christmas Day, which I can assure you is a bit more than what we remember. I
Yeah,
mean,
so like, what conversation
do you
did we even
realise?
have?
I'm sorry, but do you realise how terrifying it is? You know that time when you go out on a night out and you look at your phone and think, "Oh my God, what did I
The
send?
fear.
What messages did I send people?" Oh, that's nothing compared to, "Oh my God, I uploaded a podcast last night and 3,500 people have watched it. What the hell did I say?" So yeah, thanks for watching that. You came in your thousands to hear our immediate reaction to the Christmas Day episode, and oh my God, what an episode it was. And we have much to discuss as a result of it. What a week it's been. This has set up stuff for potentially, I think this ain't coming out to the 40th. I really think this is going to be the
Oh,
40th reveal, I have to say.
there's, I mean, we're going to get into it, but there's a lot of potential with
Yes.
all this, isn't there? Like, a
Yeah,
lot of
it could go
potential.
in a lot of different directions, so it's very,
Mm.
very, very exciting. So I think we should get on with discussing it in this week's Albert Square After Dark. Right, before we discuss the six, hold your horses. I know, we're nearly there, don't you worry. But first of all, we must discuss Whitney and Zack and little Ashton. I loved Ashton, he was cute, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
So
very cute.
Whitney and Zack have their first foster child this week. They kind of, I think they briefly met him last week, didn't they? And now we sort of looking at their lives together and sort of looking at how Whitney and Zack deal with it. I have to be honest with you, I thought Whitney and Zack did really, really well with him because he could have been a quite a difficult child considering what we were led to believe was his history. It sounds like he had quite a rough upbringing so far.
Yeah, true. He seemed quite okay for now. Well, obviously he wasn't.
Yeah.
He started crying at the sirens, which is understandable.
I'll tell you what, he's not going to do very well living in Walford, then, is he? Bless him.
Oh, that's true. Maybe
Every
that's why
single
Whitney
night.
ends up having to leave then.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to move somewhere where there isn't any sirens. I might move to Weatherfield. There's less sirens there than there is in Walford. But I really enjoyed all this, and actually, it made me really sad that I know this isn't going to last because obviously we know,
Mm.
spoiler alert, we know that Whitney's leaving. So this is going to come to an end at some point, and I was actually really enjoying watching them kind of get to grips with Ashton, and I would quite happily now watched Whitney and Zack kind of live with Ashton and sort of watch Ashton become more comfortable with
Well,
them and sort of watch that journey. It's a shame.
haven't they said at the end of the week as well that Ashton's going to a permanent family, so they've not had him for long at all, have they?
No, but this is the thing, they're fostering, they're not adopting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the path that this unfortunately leads them down. So they probably I mean if you're doing this for the first time, you're going to get attached to that first kid, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
yeah, it's a shame. So I hope that before Ashton leaves, that Whitney and Zach kind of get the confidence to think, yeah, we can do this. But then obviously, even if they do get that confidence, it's not going to end well.
It's going to be short-lived or whatever, yeah.
I'm trying to work out how Whitney leaves from this. I can't quite work
I
out because at the
still
minute she's got no. It doesn't seem that there's any sort of pathway to her leaving at this point.
The only thing I can think is obviously we've mentioned about Charlie XCX, who we've not seen for a while, or Lily.
No,
Is Stacey going to start struggling now because of what's happened with the six? And it's still going to be like that? I don't know, though.
maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But there was some lovely stuff with this week. At first, Zach was a little bit kind of nervous about how to kind of interact with him, but then they landed on Zebra Man. Now, I have to
Yes.
be honest, I was very distracted once Zebra Man appeared. Zach
I
suited
knew it
Zebra
as
Man.
soon as soon as he came on. I
Oh,
was like, oh, Rob, bet
I
you're
was
loving this, aren't you?
I could feel myself tying myself to a railway line and going, "Help! Help! Please save me, Zebra Man!" And he'd have been running through the Sahara. It'd have been lovely. That's a great way
No,
to
it
get
took him
saved.
3 seconds.
I know. That's the story of my life. Uh,
Oh my God, Rob, please, can we have a bit of class?
anyway, sorry. Yeah, it's my COVID. I do apologise. Yes, but yeah, all this was lovely. There was a bit of a drama because Whitney made him some zebra biscuits, and it turns out that he's allergic to
Tartrazine.
tartrazine. Had you ever heard of this?
I hadn't know.
Nope, me neither.
I very quickly Googled it whilst you were probably still staring at Zack in his
Yeah,
zebra
you were
suit.
doing your job as a podcaster, and I was just kind of drooling at the telly.
You know
Yeah, and
anything to do with allergies, I'm there. It's
yeah,
a food colouring,
hmm.
and usually used for yellow or orange colouring. It comes from an amaretto seed, I
Yellow and
think it said it was
orange.
called.
Why was Whitney
Yeah,
putting orange
so
or yellow food colouring in a zebra biscuit? Is my question.
I'm not sure. The only thing I can think is maybe around the nose area. Would we maybe have a bit of colour
Do
there? I
zebras have
don't know.
yellow noses? I don't think they do. Maybe a
They sometimes
sunburnt
have a bit of
zebra.
orange around it,
A
I'm sure.
sunburnt zebra might have that,
I probably
perhaps.
see zebras more than you, Rob. I'm sure we have a
Why?
little bit of colour. Because I've
Why
got a
do you?
daughter who's learning about animals.
Oh, I see. I was still like, and that means you have a pet
Why do I
zebra.
see zebras more?
I mean,
Anyway,
I'm dressed
that's
like a
that's
zebra
what it
today,
was.
but and I have got
That
a
is
red
true,
nose.
you are.
I'm dressed like one of Whitney's biscuits today with my red nose and a black
You
and white
are.
shirt. There you go. There we are.
And I tried to go for a Linda colour, but it looks a bit more purple on screen, but it is
Yeah,
actually pink.
talk to us here, viewers who are watching on YouTube. Ree was
Oh,
bragging at me at the start. Look, I'm dressed as Linda today with my pink jumper. I was like, that's not pink, that's purple. Is that not purple? Do you not think?
I think it's pink. In person, it looks pink, but I can see why it looks a bit more purple on screen. I think
This
it's
is
pink there still.
this is how the black and gold dress debacle started. So, we've got to be
Black
careful
and
what we
blue, white and gold.
exactly.
Anyway,
Got to be careful
we're
what we're opening
digressing,
up here.
Rob.
Ever so slightly. So I mean that was about it. Sort of Whitney getting sad that they're gonna lose Ashton at some point, worried about the tartrazine allergy. And I'm gonna be wiping my nose in all podcast. And I loved it. I really enjoyed sort of watching them interact with Ashton, and I hope that Ashton kind of goes to a loving family at the end of this. Or maybe this is going to be Whitney is going to maybe Zack's struggle with this is going to be the start of this, and Whitney and Ashton are just going to go off together, and Zack's going to be left alone. But I can't see Zack doing that somehow.
The only thing I'm wondering is why have they brought in the fostering this week when there was so much other things going on? I know it was probably a bit of, just another storyline that's a bit more light-hearted. But when I was
Mm,
watching it, I was actually thinking, why didn't Sharon just leave Albie with Whitney and Zach? Obviously, is that the whole reason that they brought Ashton in this week? So that weren't a possibility.
maybe.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. We'll have to wait and
The
see. We'll have to
timing
wait and
seemed
see
odd.
how this plays out. Yeah, exactly. But that's because there was a lot more going on at this week than just what Whitney and Zach. This was very much a little bit of a, like you say, a bit of a filler story,
Yeah.
to fill up what else was going on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have arrived at it, was the six. Ho ho ho! Merry Sixmas, everybody! Wow. Like I said at the start of the episode, we did somewhat download our thoughts onto the internet on this, but neither of us really remember doing it because we're that professional. Um, but
It was
now
Christmas Day,
it was
Rob.
Christmas
If there's
Day,
ever a time when we're allowed to do it,
yeah,
it's Christmas
and
Day.
it was quite late. And we were
Very
talking
late for me.
immediately, kind of immediately reacting to it as well. So we were all a bit kind of like, "Arr!" It was amazing. But my God, Christmas Day was a great episode, wasn't it? Where do you think that
It
ranks?
were
Before we go into like the ins and outs of the episode, where do you think that ranks in terms of EastEnders Christmas episodes? Because I think that was the best one in years,
Yeah,
years and years.
definitely agreed.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
trying
one
to
of the best
think.
ones in years.
I want to. I mean, just because of the build up to it throughout the entire year, that really, really, really worked. And I mean, I want to say the best since the Max Stacy reveal. To be honest,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. What's the last one? Do you know? I'd be interested to know for anyone whose family members watched it, not having seen the past 10 months, was it as big a deal when you've not seen it? Like, did it have the same effect if you're not
I mean,
a
I think
frequent watcher?
if you are living with an EastEnders fan, the scale of the story will not have escaped you because you will have heard about the six in some regards.
But some people will have gone to family members and, no one in household might watch EastEnders and go,
They go,
oh,
no.
right, so what's been happening this year? And you go, just shut up and watch.
Shut up
Right? You should have
and
done your research
exactly.
before.
I will take questions at the end. Silence for 1 hour,
Yeah.
please. That's
Yes.
like, oh, especially this year where you literally had to watch everything that was going on.
Which is
It was,
why I missed a rather important part about the fact that Nish was still alive
yeah,
because my partner decided to ask me
rediscovered
questions.
that. Rediscovered this was still alive, live on air, live on YouTube, which
I
was,
mean, I had also had a few glasses of wine and was
yes,
well over my
flagons.
bedtime.
Flagons, I would argue. Anyway, let's get discussing it because Christmas
Sorry,
Day
yes.
itself was absolutely awesome. And now we've had some time to digest it. Now we've had some time to actually think about the repercussions of it. Linda killing Keanu wasn't where I thought it was going. That was the last
No.
combination that I did not see that combination coming at all. Did you? Like in any way?
I think when someone will correct us because I've not fully watched back our six special that we did
Wise not
before
to,
it.
I think. Wise not to.
I think we did say the only other combo we could think of would be um Linda maybe doing something with Keanu, but it'd be very unlikely, I think we said.
I mean, I think we landed on the fact that if Linda was going to be the killer, it would be because she was a
It'd be
bit drunk.
Dean,
Oh well,
and
yeah,
it'd
and it
be
would be
because of
Dean.
Dean.
I
Yeah.
I still can't believe that I'm looking at an EastEnders. I know Nish is in an induced coma at the moment, but he's presumably going to come out of that at some point. I can't believe that I'm
Yeah.
now watching an EastEnders with Dean strolling around still, quite happily, unaware of anything that went on Christmas Day, and Nish still alive technically as well. Like Keanu was not the dead body I saw coming. I have to say, I could see universes and where it would happen, and now you think about it, it kind of makes sense with the kind of losing of Karen, losing of Mitch. You kind of think, are they slowly starting to pack away the Taylors now? But I
That's
certainly didn't see it
obviously
coming that
why
way.
I think that's why they made Karen leave before because they didn't want us to
Yeah.
see. Well, that and the fact that it then meant that because Karen and Keanu have fallen out, it don't mean that she's going
Yeah.
to be questioning where he's gone because they've fallen
No.
out. So why would he tell her?
But surely when this comes out, she'll come back for the funeral, you would think. I
I
mean,
don't know. It might be too different. Yeah,
this makes
realistically, of course,
this,
but
I mean, this kind of makes Karen the new Carmel, two kids murdered on that
two kids,
square.
yeah,
Two kids
yeah,
murdered on that square. That's
both
unfortunate.
stabbed technically.
Yeah, exactly. One dishwashered, one meat skewered, I think it was, wasn't it? It was like a two-pronged
Yes,
meat skewer, which was
yeah.
so cleverly placed in the episode, by the way. Did you see? Did you
Didn't
see
even
this?
notice, did
Didn't
we?
even
Yeah,
click
yeah,
it.
yeah. When you watch it back, then you go,
That, as
oh.
one of our brilliant listeners so brilliantly proclaimed, was Chekhov's two-pronged meat skewer. Love
Yes,
that
it
as a
was.
description. Perfect. Love that. So yes, let's talk about it because genius, 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 genius. And the Boxing Day episode, my goodness me, was that a great episode? A
Chef's
six-hander.
kiss.
Oh, perfectly beautiful. A
Hmm.
six-hander with just the six going, what the hell do we do now? And you sort of think, what are they going to do with Keanu at this point? Like, what the hell? They've got two bodies in the Vic at this point. Essentially, they don't know whether Nish is even still alive or not. Really, like he's doing a bit of wheezing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's still going to be
He's
alive
still
at
in
the
a
end of
bad
the day.
way.
Exactly.
So can we point something out right in all of
Yes.
this? I'm
Yes.
kind of rewinding because it goes back to how they've reacted on Boxing Day.
Yes.
Rewind,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So obviously the reason that Nish has ended up on the floor is because Denise has hit him over the head with a champagne
Again, didn't
bottle.
see Denise. Didn't see Denise. I didn't think it was going to be Denise that did
It
that.
were almost too obvious because she had the
She
bottle
was
in her
holding the
hand when we
bottle.
saw
Yeah.
it back. But
Yeah.
obviously we know why that was to
But that's
trick us
quite clever
all while we were
writing.
watching.
That's clever
Yeah.
writing because we weren't automatically thinking, well, then it must be Denise. We were actually going, well, how does Denise end up with the bottle then? Because I was obviously not going to be
Yeah.
Denise. So, oh, you clever people, EastEnders, clever.
So, do you think her hitting Nish over the head was justified? Do you think it required a glass bottle being smashed over his head in that moment?
I, I mean, the thing is, I think there was quite a lot of soapy melodrama in those final moments of the
Yeah,
episode, wasn't
yeah,
there? Especially with Keanu. Now I've looked at that in
right. But
retrospect. Yeah,
okay.
where the hell
Yeah.
does that come from? Because all of a sudden Keanu tries to kill Sharon in front of all those witnesses, which seemed a tad unwise. But did Nish deserve it? I mean, yeah. I mean, what were they going to do?
Oh,
Well, I mean, I mean, Nish deserved it as a person. If we know his
Yeah, yeah,
story,
yeah.
to us he deserved it. But you mean in that and at that
In that
moment was
moment,
it a tad
because
over the top? Is that what you're asking?
right, so let me explain why I'm asking that, right?
Okay.
Then we fast forward to Boxing Day,
Yep.
and we've got Keanu on the floor. Linda's done him with meat skewer, right?
Yep.
And Stacey's going, "Oh, well, I'm not going down because Linda's lost it." And everyone's a bit like, "Linda, what have you done?" And I
Mm.
thought, hang on. It looked like Keanu were actually about to kill Sharon. To
Well,
me,
yeah.
she actually saved his life. Yeah, she just grabbed the first thing that was there and did it. But why did nobody question Denise on why she hit him over head with a glass bottle? That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Because in
actually,
those two actual moments,
yeah.
Sharon's life was actually in danger, whereas
Yes.
Suki was getting dragged away. Yeah, she'll be manhandled,
Yeah.
but
Although I'd argue that the Denise and the bottle thing was more sort of just get off her. Like, I don't think Denise would have hit him over the head with that, thinking that's going to knock him unconscious, even. That will, I think Denise would have whacked him over the head with that and thought that will just stun him for a moment, allowing Suki to get
right.
away. Whereas with the Linda
Okay.
thing, actually, Linda had that in her hand for a good couple of seconds before she actually went to
True.
Keanu with it. So Linda actually had a moment of, it's like you could see the sort of
Should
working out
I?
in Linda's
Shouldn't
head.
I?
Should I? Am I about to do this? Like you've got to kind of wonder, like, did Linda actually mean to kill Keanu at that moment? And I kind of feel that
Mm.
if you're stabbing a double pronged meat skewer into someone's back, that's kind of your ultimate aim, isn't it?
True, I guess, yeah, now you're saying it like that, there were more thought process, well,
Yeah.
drunken thought process
Well, yeah.
going through Linda's mind than
You do
Denise's.
crazy things when you're
Yeah,
drunk. You stab people with meat skewers. You go on YouTube
I
and upload
mean,
things that you don't remember doing. Oh dear. Um,
oh,
but I mean that left us with an amazing Boxing Day episode, and
mm,
I love that Keanu's in the calf now because that sort of you kind of go, oh okay, that's why you burnt down the calf. All right,
calf.
clever. Not only did
They've
it give
thought of
Kathy a
everything,
reason,
haven't they?
yeah, right. Now the only thing for me is from this moment onwards because this now has I mean, I loved it all in the lead up to Christmas, and I love the Christmas Day episode, and I love the Boxing Day episode. But now we're left with these six women who have varying degrees of suitability for keeping this secret. All right. Like already people are starting like already Kathy's starting to flounder. I loved Kathy being interviewed by the police. So proud of herself every time that she remembered a small detail and then revealing the Suki and Eve thing in the same breath. Um, and Linda's obviously a liability at the moment because she's in drunk Linda mode.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey was really struggling with it on Boxing Day. I love that moment between her and Denise. In fact, I loved Stacey and Denise throughout the whole of the Boxing Day episode. That was amazing, that dynamic.
Agreed.
When Stacey's having a panic attack, like because it's all bringing back memories of Archie. I mean, think about that moment for a second, because how crazy is Stacey's life that they could do this, that this could happen to her, and it would send her back to a time when something could remind her of something else that had happened to her, like
Yeah, I
that's
know.
similar to that.
Literally on the same day
Stacey,
as well.
I wish nothing but for Stacey to have a happy Christmas one year. Just one year where she doesn't have a traumatic event happen to her, where she's not faced with death. Just one
You
Christmas for
know how
Stacey.
you know how Stacey was running around the square at the time having a snowball fight, then Suki run up to her,
Yes.
right, before they went in the pub.
Yeah.
Did you not think, did the family not think where's Stacey just gone? Because she just kind of ran off.
Well, they all kind of ran off at that point because I was sat there wondering, I wonder if Jack's going to come looking for Denise at some point because,
Yeah.
there was a lot of people, they all got kind of like Kathy kind of wandered off as, I mean, I know the wedding was going on, but you could kind of argue that maybe some of them went to kind of deal with Sharon and make sure Sharon was okay. And maybe they could use Linda being drunk because, oh, I was looking after Linda. She was in a bit of a bad place. But yeah, they did kind of just disappear for the night. So I'm surprised that
Mm.
more questions weren't asked at that moment about, like you say,
Yeah.
from Denise's family, from Stacey's family. Um, Now the question now, of course, is where do we go from here? Currently, Keanu is buried in the calf with a really helpful grave in the
Not
middle of the
very
calf.
well.
Not very. I don't think very well, to be honest. I think maybe they've covered him in a bit of tarpaulin and maybe stuck a table over him, but they've not like buried him, have they?
No, not properly. I've seen some people online who think that Sharon's going to ask Phil to move the body or something.
See, this is the thing. Someone else is going to have to find out about this, aren't they? I
Mm.
think Eve's quite a prime suspect for being the next to find out because I think Eve would
Or
be quite a good
Ravi.
person to tell. Ravi would be
Ravi would be, mind
yeah.
you, Ranvir's body got
Well, Ranveer's body got folded up into a
bust in the end.
suitcase. Like Ravi Garmi went on that day, so maybe Ravi, mind you,
Yeah.
maybe Ravi is the perfect person to tell. Maybe Ravi is the perfect person to tell that to. Who would you trust if you were one of the six at
Phil.
this moment? You tell Phil, would you?
Mm. Who's the
I mean,
dodgiest person I know on Square?
he wouldn't mind
Who
Keanu being
you
dead at
could
this moment, would he? So
who's
he'd
got
cooperate.
who's got kids by three of the six women? By
That's
literally
ridiculous, isn't
50%
it?
of the women.
That is ridiculous.
Phil.
Yeah,
Do it for your
yeah.
child's mother, Phil. Do
One
it
of
for your
them.
other
Do
child's
it for
mother
any of
and do
your
it for your other
children's
child's
mothers.
mother.
Yeah, and then your other
Right?
child's mother as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How long do you think this is going to go on for? Because, like I say, I think I can see this being the 40th reveal. I think they can drag this
It,
out for the year. And drag out sounds
yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
talking it down, but I think this could go on for an entire year of just sort of the subterfuge. A 1 week, one of them kind of accidentally lets slip something, one of them turns on the other. You could do
Hmm.
this. This could be the traitors now for the next year. And they've
Yeah,
got
it
the
could.
barrel, and they've got the barrel store as the place where the traitors meet to talk about who's going to get murdered next. It's
Oh
literally the
my
traitors at this moment,
wow. That
isn't
is
it?
literally it. I like that,
Mm.
Rob. I like that
Just
comparison, yeah.
get them some different coloured cloaks in their six outfits, and we're made.
And then Elaine could be Claudia Winkleman as well.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
could start getting
exactly.
involved and
Yeah,
hosting these little
yeah,
meetings soon.
cackling away in the
Mm.
background.
Ha ha ha.
Um,
Sorry.
so yeah, what do you think? Like, how long is this going to last? Do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised until the 40th, or at least until someone finds the body, but who's going to find it? Or how long
I
is it
mean,
going to take for Nish to wake up? Because that's a pretty vital part of
well,
it all
I
as
mean,
well.
this is the thing. Of course, Nish currently owns the calf, so when he
Yeah.
does come round, he's going to want to start work on that place as soon as he's able to. As soon as he's awake, I can see him going. Even if he's still stuck in hospital, if he's conscious and lucid enough, he'll be saying, "Right, I need you to be doing that." So they haven't got a lot of time, surely, to be leaving Keanu there. So he's going to have to be moved at some point, isn't he?
This is, yeah. This is what I'm saying. The only person I can think who'd do it would be Phil.
Mm.
Who else would do
Well,
it?
Ravi, like you say, would be a
Yeah,
good
or Ravi, yeah, yeah.
shout. Because I feel like after Christmas Day, I feel like Suki can maybe start trusting Ravi a little bit now.
Well, she's shown that she's got that extra super special bond with Nugget as well this week, which
Oh
Ravi will
my
appreciate.
God, I adored that scene between Suki and Nugget. This is why I love Nugget so much. I love Nugget and Suki's relationship so much. I want more for Nugget next year, please. I want Nugget to have his first Duff Duff. He's not had one yet. Give that
Is he
Nug Nugs a Duff.
not?
No, no, I want a Nug Nug Duff Duff. That's what I want. um,
He was very mature, wasn't he, in his
well,
reaction? And
this isn't the first time that Nugget's done that. Yes,
mm,
he's the little shite of the group of the kids on the square at the moment, all right? We know that. That's his character, okay? But this is not the first time that he's had a head on his shoulders that is wiser than the adults around him. Like, look at how he shot down Ravi when Zack's HIV was revealed
yeah,
to him.
true.
So this is
Mm,
Nugget's a sensible lad. He's got a lot going on in his life with his family and his somewhat troublesome upbringing. But that's also why I find Nugget like the most fascinating out of the kids. Like I really want to sort of see him develop from here, and his relationship with Suki is prime for that. I absolutely love the moment where Suki came out to him, and Nugget kind of was not in the slightest bit angry about the fact that she was a lesbian or was with a woman. He was angry about the fact that she was going to run away and not tell him.
yeah.
He had that really nice line, was like, "Me and you don't lie to each other, so what the hell?" Like, loved that.
Mm.
Chef's kiss, absolute applause there. Loved it. And I have to say, considering everything that's going on, this is the happiest we've ever seen Suki
I love
ever.
that she's just decided to be out and proud this week. She's
I
like, do you know
mean,
what, sod it. What else can happen after this
I could
week?
get
Come on,
arrested
Eve.
any moment. I may as well be happy with my girlfriend for a bit.
YOLO.
YOLO,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
totally.
I love it. Eve kind of got. I think Eve's kind of cottoning on to something that's going on. That's something's a bit amiss, though, isn't she?
Yeah, but then because I wondered, I actually thought that Suki were just going to tell her everything, but do you think she doesn't want to implicate Eve in it as well,
Mm,
which is why she's keeping it from her? Because
yeah.
obviously that's gonna
But then,
prove problematic.
yeah, but then she's connected to Stacy as well, so she'll have two people that she'd want to protect. So I
I
think
know,
Eve would
but
be
do
a
you
good
think they
shout to
just
tell.
think it's better that she doesn't know anything, so they're just not going to tell her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're protecting her from the repercussions of it. But if
Mm.
they do have to tell somebody, I think Eve would be a pretty good shout. One person that is losing their support this week is Kathy, who This was, I mean, so Rocky, Christmas, Boxing Day episode, Christmas night. Okay, Rocky is hammered. The only person that was more hammered than us on Christmas Day. Okay, he's tottering around the square, and whilst all of the women are trying to be as secretive as they can, whilst carrying a body around in 6-inch heels and clip clopping all over the square. I loved the heels. The heels were so funny when they're all trying to be discreet. And they're like, "Let's get the tarpaulin off Ian Skip." Clip clop clop clip clop clip
Click,
clip
clop,
clop
click,
clip
clop,
clop
click,
clop.
clop, click,
It
clop,
was
click.
great.
I know, right?
It was like a herd of multicolored gazelles running around that square. It was great.
Could they
Loved
have
it.
not? That honestly, it really annoyed me. I was like, I'd just go
Take your
barefoot or a
shoes off.
cylinder. Have you
It
got
was
some
snowing
socks I
though.
can
It
borrow?
was snowing though. You know, they'd have got cold
You'd be
feet.
better off. Yeah, oh, true, cold.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna say you'd be
yeah,
better off not having heels on in snow, but yeah,
exactly. Would
okay,
you rather be heard or have pneumonia at that moment? I think that,
yeah,
you got to kind of put your priorities straight. Um, but yeah, so Rocky saw Sharon going into the calf and decides to go into detective mode and sort of works out that something's going on and that Kathy is hiding something and that Kathy is in some form of danger because of everything that had gone on with Keanu. Because they've told the entire square that Keanu would hold them all at knife point. This is the only thing why I don't think this might not go on to the 40th because there's no way that this story could hold water for an entire year. They've told the entire square that Keanu held them all at knife point and then attacked Nish with the bottle because Nish was taking the piss out of the fact that Keanu had just been stood up or like dumped at the altar and then had run off somewhere, leaving Nish and the women to deal with the repercussions. And Rocky's got it into his head that because he saw Sharon going into the calf that night, that she's hiding Keanu or at least knows something about his location, and she's implicating Kathy in the repercussions of it. So he's trying to protect her, and all the women are kind of like, no, we need to get rid of Rocky now. He's asking too many questions. Was there a moment where you kind of thought, are they going to kill Rocky? Are they now just going to murder
yeah,
Rocky? Genuinely, I was kind of like, I hope it doesn't go down that route. But I was imagining it turning into something like each of the 7 men die throughout the
we've
year.
done it once now, so let's
Yeah,
get rid of next one. Then
yeah.
next, yeah,
So I'm glad they haven't gone down that route because I was a bit worried for a moment. Um,
mm,
but so basically, to cut a long story short, Kathy, I was a bit confused as to who actually rang the police because Ian seemed to be quite smug about the fact that Rocky was being arrested. And when Rocky accused him
no,
of doing it, Ian was like, "Yeah, well, you nearly killed my children." I thought it was implied that Ian had called the police, but then Kathy must have done it.
Kathy definitely did do it. So didn't we see on her phone it said Walford Police? So she called them and
Mm,
she took the laptop in as well. Don't forget that was the
that's
main
true. Yeah,
evidence that they had.
yeah,
I think Ian was just happy for him to think that it was him because he just had
yeah.
that argument with
Must have
him.
been it. Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
it fit nice in the story that then if Rocky doesn't suspect that it was Kathy, he's not going to say anything about the Sharon stuff.
Mm,
So let's all let Rocky think that it was Ian. Perfect way to get Rocky out.
yeah.
Like perfect. Is this the end of Rocky now? That's it. We're not going to see
I
him
think
again.
that's
I don't
I
feel.
think that's the end of Rocky now. Yeah, I think that's in.
Mm,
We're not going to see him like going for a court case or anything now. The way that he
no.
said that his last line of the week, talking about Banana Rama, like giving one of his little celebrity stories, kind of felt like a little bow tied on Rocky. One of those
That
moments.
was very bittersweet. That went it. That
Yeah,
little
I'm
bit like oh.
I'm going to miss Rocky a lot. I really, really like Rocky as a character. I'm kind of gutted that he's gone, to be honest.
I liked him, but I think because they knew he were leaving, his time were up. I think they made it that way. So for me,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed him whilst he's been here, but will I miss him that much if I'm being honest? I'm not sure.
No,
But I did enjoy him.
well, they've left the door. The door is kind of open. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not. He's not. He wasn't on the floor. He wasn't part of the Christmas Day massacre. So, arguably, he could return one day, and I hope he does. Because
Yeah.
I've said this before, but I did not know that Brian Connolly could act. I knew Brian Connolly, obviously, as a comedian, and it's a puppet, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think I'd ever seen him act in anything. And normally, can turn their heads towards acting quite quickly because they're clever people. But I didn't know that Brian Connolly had that in him, and I've really, really enjoyed Rocky as a character. I really have. So I hope he returns one day because there's clearly him and Kathy left things on an all right note, didn't they? So there's potential there. Kathy
Amicable.
clearly still loves him, and he still loves Kathy. So one day Rocky could return, I think. Because how long
Mm.
is he going to get really for just a false insurance job? Nobody
No,
died.
they said arson. Well, like, didn't she just say
Yeah,
it's like a life
you don't
sentence?
get life
Arson.
for arson,
I
surely.
don't know. People were endangered, and it was
You
for
don't get life
insure.
for
I don't
murder.
know.
People out of that square have been in prison for murder. They're not just going to leave
That's true.
Rocky to rot in prison for setting fire to an
Yeah,
old calf, are they? Surely.
I don't know, you know.
Well, I'm sure
Anyone
he'll.
who does know, let us know, please.
Yeah.
How long
Have
do
you
you
ever
think
set
Rocky's
fire to a?
actually going to
Have
get?
you ever been arrested for arson? Let us know how long you got, please. That'd be great. Cheers.
Comment below.
Comment below. Thanks very much. Who else? Denise. So, like I said, I love Denise this
Oh,
week. Now then, Denise,
mm.
where Denise is struggling, I think, a bit this week. Obviously, she was immediately confronted with the fact that Stacey she was having to support Stacey quite a lot through this, and there were some amazing moments with Denise this week. My highlight being when the two of them are all looking for the tarpaulin, and Stacey's having a bit of a moment, turning around and saying, "Are you right there? Well, you're just taking in the scenery while I deal with
Taking the
this."
scene.
It was great. I thought Diane Parrish was great this week. Loved Denise's character a lot, and this was a really interesting kind of route for Denise to go down. I love that she's part of the Six. I really do.
Do you think that we've seen a bit of a selfish side to Denise this
I think we've
week?
seen a bit of a selfish side to all of them, to be honest.
True,
I think
true.
there's elements in
But
each of them. I do
I've thought
wonder.
Denise in particular, you know, been quite
Uh,
selfish.
I do wonder. I don't. I Denise didn't stand out particularly to me as the most selfish one, but what I would say is all of them, I think, have the potential to turn on the rest of them.
Each other.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think that's coming at some point, especially with Suki there, who will literally say she's a weak link. She needs to go. We need to turn on her now. And everyone's going to be like, "Yeah,
She's a liability.
Suki knows what
Yeah.
she's talking about. Let's get rid of Linda now." Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I thought Denise has been a bit selfish this week, and
What
Stacey's
in what
picked up
way?
on it a few times.
In what way?
Well, when um obviously Keanu was on the floor and Kathy were about to ring for an ambulance, and Denise
Hmm.
was like, "Well, I'll tell him it were you, Kathy. I'll just tell him it were all you. I'll
Well,
tell him that
yeah.
you
I
had
mean,
something to
Denise
do with Keanu,
at
just to
that
protect
moment.
herself because of what she'd done to
Exactly.
Nish."
She was worried about Nish, wasn't she? But I don't think it stood out as particularly selfish, at least for me. But I see what you mean. But
And then in the barrel store later on in the week, and Kathy's telling him that Rocky's seen Sharon in the calf, and
mm,
Denise says, "Well, did he see anyone else?" She said no, and then Stacey picked up on her facial reaction and said, "Oh well, you're glad about that, aren't you? As long as you're in clear, Denise." And she was like, "I
mm,
didn't say that." It's like, you are a bit. I also get it though, because if I were in that situation, I'd be worried about
you'd be the
myself.
same. You'd be the
But
same, wouldn't you? Yeah.
it seems quite uncharacteristic of Denise to be that selfish, and I'm wondering
I
if
just think
her
she's
bitterness towards
stressed.
Stacey's mixed in.
I think there's a little
Yeah.
bit of that as well. I think if the opportunity comes to throw Stacey under the bus, Denise will take it in a heartbeat. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I see what you mean. But I think it was added stress because of what she'd done to Nish, and the fact that she's found
Yeah.
herself in this situation where they have buried a body underneath the calf. You know, this is a new path for Denise. A couple of them have been in a similar situation to this before, not Denise. So she's kind
True.
of dealing with this as she can, I think. We obviously need to talk about Linda, Killer Linda, as she is now known. Wow. She has fallen off the wagon good and proper. And as Elaine quite brilliantly turned around to her and
Spectacularly.
said, yes, and as Elaine quite brilliantly turned around to her at some point, and clearly it's got over you a few times as well. Like that. Thought it was a good line.
I've really enjoyed Elaine this week, I must say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't. I've got to approve of a man of a woman who goes off to have a romantic night with her fella instead of coming to the pub and dealing with her daughter who's clearly going through the 1 year anniversary of the death of her husband. Screw that. I'm off to get laid in a posh hotel. I've got to applaud that, to be honest. You know, you've got the entire year to whinge at me. I'm having Christmas Day with George right now. I approve. Um, but yeah, Linda, she's a killer, and she's fallen off the wagon spectacularly. And Suki has said, you know, she's a liability at the moment, and she kind of is, isn't she? Big
Yeah,
time.
just a bit. Just
Yeah,
a bit. I mean, she was kind so before what happened on Christmas Day, she was kind of functioning as an alcoholic, don't you think? Like, it
yeah. I
wasn't
saw.
very obvious that she was drunk. She
Yeah, yeah.
was,
Well, she was drunk on was it the episode before Christmas Day? I didn't even spot that. You spotted it, and a few other
yeah.
people online did as well. I didn't spot it at all. But yeah, she was pretty much she was pissed from that point onwards. I think, wasn't she?
But that's it. She was good at covering it up. Not many
Yeah,
people could suss that she was drunk.
yeah.
Then what happened on Christmas Days happened, and now she's just gone, sod it,
Yeah, she's not
YOLO.
bothered now, is she? She's kind
Give
of
me
strolling
vodka.
around, yeah, necking vodka. Had a massive go at Gina, and I kind of understand the go at Gina, to be honest. What the hell is going on with Gina? Why does she suddenly fancy Dean?
Oh,
This is frustrating.
I mean, he's a good looking chap, but
There's no denying that. But
But obviously,
uh,
yeah, given what he's quite clearly done and the fact that she's still not believing Linda is
and she's the
absolutely
only one.
ridiculous.
She is the only
Yeah,
one that
it
has any doubts as
is.
well. It's not like there's a couple of people sort of planting seeds in her head and saying, yeah, I'm not sure either, to be honest. Like everybody else on the square
I
believes
know.
Linda, apart from Gina.
There's, I think we've got something else big about to come up with Gina and Dean, surely,
Well,
because where is this
yeah.
headed?
I mean,
Because it's
you
still
would,
going on. We thought this would just so we'd suspect on Christmas Day that it would Dean,
yeah,
but
and that didn't happen at all. Dean sort of wandered
and their
around the pub
friendship's
for a
still
little bit.
carrying on.
Yeah, like Dean's story really hasn't altered that much in the run up to Christmas Day. He's still going through the stuff with Jade, who had a successful transplant this week.
Oh
Some people thought
yes.
that Dean was going to die and then Jade would be given his lung. I don't think
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
of
not sure that's
course.
how that works, to be honest. But Dean had the donor card on him, so Dean assumed that was the way his storyline was going to go as well. So he's as surprised as anybody else that he's still alive.
Oh no,
Um,
that was Dean trying to show Gina what a good person he is. That
oh,
you know
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
carries a donor card around
Yeah.
now, and
I
Gina
give blood
because
and everything.
he's just such a good guy. Of
He's such
course,
a
he'd
good
never
guy.
rape anybody.
No.
Even though
Um,
two women have accused him of it, like
mhm,
including Roxy that he nearly did it too.
yeah.
Gina, this person who I believe a woman every time, doesn't even believe her own stepsister. Something's not right here.
It's all a bit mad, isn't it? Um, yeah, but I think this can only be going in one direction, surely, with Gina and Dean, can't it? Seems that way.
Do you know what's striking me as odd there, right? Like, obviously they've got this friendship striking up, but it feels a bit one-sided to me. Like, Dean's actually not that bothered about being Gina's
I
friend.
know what you mean. I know what you mean because, like, Dean, I think Dean was very distracted with the Jay stuff this week, but I thought Gina was kind of flirting with Dean as well, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's just a bit like, oh, whatever, like, you're a
But
little
then
girl, I'm not that. Because there's probably quite a big age gap as well.
Yeah, but then I think he's also like now and again he'll sort of look up from his phone and sort of give her a look of surprise and like, you're being quite nice to me. I'm not used to this. So
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
see that sort of dripping into Dean's head over the coming weeks or however long this might take. Um, but I can only see one way this is going. Now, whether it goes all the
Mm,
way remains to be seen, but you kind of feel there's only one way this is going to go, surely.
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Dean's getting a bit annoyed by her there at the minute.
Leave me alone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, I
maybe.
do. But
Yeah,
then he's like, "Oh, but you're the only person who
yeah.
like will actually talk to me on the square."
Yeah,
So
so
I
until
guess
someone less annoying starts supporting me, I'll deal with you. Thanks very much.
chuck me a
Uh,
tinny for now. Then.
yeah. Um, but then she's giving him a lot of support as well. Like she's there for him throughout the whole Jade thing. He's got nobody else. Everybody else on the square literally hates him. Like, I'm surprised he's making any money at all in that pie and mash shop, to be honest, because I bet it does. I bet none of the residents of the square are going in there. You'd have thought
No,
Ian and
but
Cindy would be trying harder to get rid of them at this point, to be honest. Especially
where
Ian.
London's a big place, Rob. They might have customers who leave their square going to their
Yeah.
square, you know, to
It's
actually
one-way doors on
venture
that
out a
square only.
bit.
It's one-way
Yeah,
doors on that square only. Once you're there, you never leave, but you're allowed to come in from other places. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Who else? Stacey. I mean, I think she kind of calmed down as the week went on, but the initial event, she was all over the place, wasn't she?
Oh, she weren't happy to be invited. She wanted to leave, didn't she? Straight away. With Kathy, you were
Yeah.
like, do you really want to risk them pinning it on you if you leave now, Stacey? I mean,
Yeah.
she got blood on her. Did they do a very good job cleaning things up forensically? I know we didn't see it in
Well,
depth, but
I mean, the thing is, at this point, no one is suspecting anything of them somehow. So, so they kind of did the
mm,
best job they could. They sort of cleaned up all the stuff from Keanu. They didn't need to clean up anything from Nish because that like as far as everyone knew, he had been hit at that moment. So as far as
oh, and
Nish's
I
blood
guess
and everything,
yeah,
yeah, as far as Nish's blood and everything is concerned, they didn't need to hide anything, and nobody
that's
suspected
true.
anything that was going on in the hallway. So I think they did what they had to do at that moment. Whether bits and pieces of Keanu's DNA have currently been scattered around the square as he's sort of been moved around George's car and then down the road into the calf, who knows? But that's going to be interesting. I'm kind of fascinated that if that cafe gets reopened and Bernie keeps working there, she's going to be serving tea and coffee and bacon
Bacon
sandwiches
sandwiches.
just above her brother's body. That's quite
Oh,
mad, isn't it?
that's not a very nice thought, is it?
Poor
But they should
Bernie.
have took him to Argy Bargy. If you're
Yeah,
gonna take him to Kathy, you might as well have gone down road.
push Tina aside. See, this is the other thing. I can see the image that you automatically think of is that on the 40th, Keanu's body is going to be discovered, and there's just going to be a skeletal hand with the cufflinks attached. That's kind of that's
Oh,
kind
so
of
the
the image, isn't it?
cufflinks.
That's kind of the image, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I don't know. And then Sharon obviously is struggling big time. Uh, I thought Letitia Dean was amazing this week, by the way. I thought she gave a really, really
Yeah,
strong
really good.
performance. I mean, they all did, to be fair. It's not like anybody dropped the ball, but I thought I loved Letitia Dean's performance this week. It's kind of struggling inwardly with the grief of losing Keanu and him dying in front of her again. Poor Sharon. Honest to God, I'd just be celibate at this point if I was Sharon, wouldn't you? I really
I
wouldn't
mean,
bother.
what were it? Maybe 10 hours prior, if that. She
Yeah,
thought she was going to be getting married to him,
yeah,
and then next thing she's
not even
covering
that.
up his murder.
Yeah, I like she'd
Still
watched
in the
him die in
wedding
front of him.
dress.
The Linda and Sharon dynamic was fascinating at that point. I thought, like Sharon
This is what
saying,
yeah.
"Yeah, see how's that going to play out now? Do we think?"
I'm struggling with this one. This is why I brought up the Denise and Linda comparison earlier, because obviously Sharon discovers Linda in toilets crying and's like, I mean, at first she's annoyed, and then she goes,
Mm.
"Well, you saved my life. I thought you were going to kill me." And then, like 10 minutes later, she's like, "Clean your mess up." And it's
Yeah,
like,
but
all
she's
right, Sharon.
even when she said that, when she said, "You saved my life, you don't deserve to be punished for that," it was delivered in about as clinical a way as she could possibly have said it. Like
Mm,
she was kind of like, there is no two ways about it. This has greatly affected their relationship, to say the least. So you've kind of got to
I think
wonder.
Sue, I think Suki moving forward is going to be important for Sharon to keep stum about everything, to keep reminding her, like she did this week, which I thought were a
Oh, I'm
great
telling you
scene.
now, Suki is the only one that's going to keep that lot afloat. Like, I loved
I agree.
Suki's role in this. Like, because Suki sort of, you could say there was a moment of sort of, I love that moment on Christmas Day where she's breathed life into Nish. Everything's fine. Nish is alive. It's all good. She strolls out. All right, he's alive. It's fine. Then looks down and sees Keanu dead on the floor. That was a brilliant moment.
I've seen a great
Um,
TikTok of that actually.
oh really? Yeah, send me it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, but I think Sharon is going to kind of her and Linda. Can they pick themselves up from this? Can they ever be the same again?
I think if Linda carries on drinking the way that she is, Sharon ain't going to be there for her. But
Yeah.
I think if Linda can stop drinking, then Sharon might be able to form back some kind of friendship. But again, I kind of feel bad for Linda because in the moment I understand why she did what she
She
did.
did
It
it for
did
good
genuinely
reasons.
look like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it looked like you were going to kill Sharon. It actually looked, and Sharon's going, when she said to Suki, "Oh, he would have stopped there, wouldn't he?" And she's like, "Sharon, the bruises are already showing
Yeah.
on your neck.
He
Like,
was
come
squeezing
on,
hard
love,
enough. I mean,
please."
that was quite mad, wasn't it? Like Keanu just suddenly deciding to kill her. That was, I think. Do you know what it reminded me of? Actually, that moment reminded me of. You know when Alfie went crazy at the top of the stairs and started like having a go
Yeah,
at Cat
yeah,
for being have started having a go at Cat for being abused, and then he got pushed down the stairs and we thought Alfie was dead. It reminded me of that moment. Like
I know what you
it
mean.
a little bit
Very
uncharacteristic
out
at
of
that time.
character,
Yeah,
and
to
yeah,
sort of deliver the moment. Like,
forced.
I get it, but yeah, at that moment, I suppose just the heightened drama of it all. It sort of because we were leading at it, but like in retrospect, you sort of think, why did he do that? So like in front of everyone, crazy.
They tried to hint at it. Do you remember a few weeks ago with
Yes, this
Karen
was
and he
it,
had
wasn't it?
his
I think
fist
that's the reason.
clenched?
Yeah, this is the reason they're giving to it to show that Keanu could go a bit dark if the time came. So this clearly was a demonstration of Keanu going a bit dark, but it's not
Which
like
we'd
he's
never
done it a
seen
lot.
before, though.
Yeah, I know. But
Especially to a woman. I'm surprised, like, not that you should ever do that,
well, I
obviously,
tell
to
you,
any
well,
person,
no, but
but
I tell you what. Do you remember me telling you about the Shianu fans? Like
oh God, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah, I've
are
seen.
not impressed, to say the least. This story's upset them. And I didn't realize about the
Fair
Shianu
enough if you're a
fans.
Shianu fan, though.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I mean, the biggest fan base I've seen on the internet are obviously the Balam fans, and the Suki fans are a massive
Yeah,
part of that. That's huge as well. Watching Balam fans and Suki fans go at each other on the internet is great fun to watch. I recommend it. Grab some popcorn. But the Shianu fans are a big thing as well, and yeah,
yeah.
they are quite gutted about this because they don't think that Keanu would ever have done that to Sharon.
I've got to agree, it did feel forced. It felt forced. Like, I'm fine for it to have happened because we had a great
Yeah, it's happened
episode
now.
and it's
Yeah,
brought us this
exactly.
brilliant storyline.
Yeah.
But it did feel forced. Despite, I don't know. I mean, when some of them were doing their interviews and they were describing how Keanu supposedly went off at Nish, they said
Mm.
the red mist had come over him, which quite clearly had happened. It was just strange. It was like he looked at Sharon all of a sudden and then just went,
Yeah, because at that moment he'd lost. I mean, if we try and think about the reasoning for it, and yeah, at that moment he had lost everything. All right, so
Hmm.
his parents had left him. He'd now lost his wife because she's discovered what his involvement in the kidnapping, and now he's lost his son as well, and
Well,
he's
he
kind of
didn't
like
seem to
and his
believe her,
relationship.
did he?
He didn't at first, but I think he was very much in denial, wasn't he? Because he had a conversation
Mm,
with Bernie, and Bernie at
yeah.
that point went, "Well, why would she say that otherwise? Like, why did she not just?" So I think he kind of did believe it, but he
Oh,
was just didn't want to admit it.
oh, and I thought the opposite. I thought Bernie was saying like, "Why would she say that? Like, it's obviously not
Yeah,
true."
no,
I
I
thought
think
that's why Bernie said that.
yeah, no, I think by the time he got to the Vic, I think he had like Bernie had actually convinced him that it was true, and he was just at that moment just lost everything, and then just thought, "Screw it, you could die as well." Again, I
I don't know.
agree,
I
a
feel
bit odd,
like
but
because you were like, my name's on the birth certificate now, so why would
yeah.
you then turn around and say, I'm not sure that he did believe her, I think
No,
he
I
just
think he
thought she was
did.
saying it to hurt him.
I think
Okay.
Bernie convinced him. I think that was how it ended. But
Oh, and
anyway, it
I
doesn't
thought
matter.
the opposite.
There you go.
Don't
But anyway,
matter, he's dead.
now he's dead, and you were drunk, so who knows? Who
I
knows?
have rewatched
You
it
thought
several
you thought
times.
Nish was
I
still
have
alive.
rewatched it.
Oh, have you? All right
I've
then.
actually watched Christmas Day about three times because I
It's
went to
that good.
rewatch it. I went to rewatch it a third time to make notes, and I normally just skim it, and I ended up rewatching the entire
Uh,
thing again.
it's a good one. It
That's
was
how
a good
good it
one, wasn't
were.
it? It was a good
Yeah.
one. Now you know everything that kind of went into it. And also, I recommend if you haven't seen it yet, go on the iPlayer and have a look at Chris Clenshaw telling Kelly Blight that she's the killer.
Oh, brilliant. I loved that.
That's
There were even
love that.
drama behind the scenes is
I know
fantastic, isn't
they were
it?
secretly filming Kelly on the golf buggy. She was going to see him in this really sort of in this room that had all been
I love
set up
that.
to be that. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Chris Clenshaw, he looks at home doing that sort of thing. I can imagine Chris Clenshaw once the executive producing path has come to an end. He could be the host of some sort of secret game show or something. He'd
Yeah,
work quite well
yeah.
in that. I could imagine that. But yeah, great storyline. I love it. I feel like it maybe has the potential to sort of go a bit daft at times, maybe going forwards. I don't know how they're gonna.
Right.
I don't know how they're gonna stop that from happening because
Here am I.
it is a very high camp plot, isn't it?
My future theories of the
Yes,
six.
yes,
Stacey may struggle with her mental health now. She's had a lot going on
absolutely,
this year, right? That's
yeah,
surely got to be the next thing. A mental
absolutely,
health flare up, which is why I'm saying maybe that could be how Whitney fits into it. That's mere speculation. I don't know if that will
possible, possible.
mix up. And also because she's not going to confide in Eve and Jean, which is normally what she'd do.
Yeah, so she's
Which
got no
again's
outlet.
odd because when that happened with Freddie and Theo, the first person she turned to was Eve, but then again, Eve walked in on it, so she
Hmm.
didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah,
That's what I think with Stacey. Kathy, I think, is going to really struggle. Potentially, they keep mentioning her age. I've noticed. Have you noticed that? Like,
have they?
even Cindy said, "Oh, she's an old defenseless woman." Yeah, she said
Mm,
that to Rocky, and Rocky was like, "She's not."
that's the sort of thing
So I'm
Cindy would say, though,
wondering.
isn't it?
It is. I actually think that she meant it to be nice, though, in a weird, in a backhanded Cindy kind of
In
way.
Cindyland, that is a compliment. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Um. So I'm wondering if Kathy's mind might start struggling mentally as well with it all because obviously she's already struggling to remember what she's supposed to be saying.
Mm,
So I'm wondering if that's what's going forward for Kathy.
maybe.
Sharon, I don't know if Sharon's gonna be able to hold it together with the grief because my God, she's grieving for Keanu, isn't she? And this
Mm,
not only is she grieving for Keanu, she's grieving the life that she thought she could have. She was already grieving the life that she thought she could have with him when she found out he's no longer the father of her child.
yeah.
So she's got like double, triple grief in there.
Well, she's
So
got
I'm
Phil
not
to
sure
contend
how.
with now. She's got Phil to contend with now as well. The only thing I would say about Sharon is there was that moment when she was standing in front of the mirror, like looking at the bruises on her neck, and I wonder if that moment was a sort of moment of reflection and acceptance from Sharon, like sort of like this is why it had to happen, sort of thing. I wondered if that was supposed to be that, like when she was very much alone and in her own thoughts, not talking to any of the others. I wonder if that was sort of the result of what Suki said to her as well. That kind of felt like a natural.
I think she's conflicted, Sharon,
Yeah,
because she's now
absolutely.
never going to know whether he would have let go. And do you know what?
Yeah,
You
that's
couldn't
gonna.
really have stayed. You couldn't
Yeah,
have stayed there to find out, really, could you,
no.
Sharon? It's not really worth that risk because if
Mm,
he'd have carried on any longer,
you
he'd
you'd
have
have been
been
on the
gone.
floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Denise. Denise is turning out a bit, like I say, I feel like Denise is getting a bit selfish. I feel like she might drop Stacey in it or somebody else, you know.
I can see it to maybe dropping Stacey in it, but then at the same time, I do wonder whether this is kind of taken over in terms of their relationship. Like this is taking prominence. I
Mm,
feel like they had that moment, didn't they, where Stacey turned around after like Denise had calmed her down after her panic attack. And she said, "I'm sorry about Jack," and all Denise could do was just sort of nod. And I kind of felt that was the moment that they sort of put the Jack stuff aside because this is much more important. We need to keep each other safe at this moment. So I don't know. In the future, once the dust has settled and they're still trying to keep this a secret, yes, I could see Denise throwing her under the bus with revenge for the Jack thing. But at the moment, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think Stacey's still making digs back at Denise, though, noticing her being a bit selfish. But then if they do get on too well, Jack could then be sus, surely, and be like, why are
Oh
you two
yeah,
suddenly best mates?
exactly.
Like, what's
Yeah.
that about?
I
Mm,
yeah, I don't know how Denise goes for I don't know where Denise goes from here with Jack because really you'd think their relationship would be over. But if she
mm.
wants to keep the boat kind of afloat as much as she can, she's best off staying with Jack for now, isn't she?
Yeah, also, she's quite implicated in a massive murder crime, so I'd
Mm,
probably stick with a copper if I were you.
that's
But, you
true.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Suki,
Yes.
the ice queen of them all, will have no problems keeping any of this
I
secret.
think she will. I think Suki's
No,
this is secretive in her sleep. Honestly, I think
yeah.
Suki's absolutely fine. I love the way that she's just got this. She's like, right, you need to
She's
do
the
that.
glue.
You need to calm down. You need to deal with that. You need to get rid of him. All right, I'll deal with that over there. I'd like, yeah. Suki is the only thing that's keeping that group afloat at the moment. So that's going to
She's
be,
used to wearing a mask, isn't she? She's had to
yeah,
do it for so many years that she's got this, I think,
yeah,
Suki. Yeah, I think
absolutely,
she's
yeah,
definitely the glue of the six.
yes. That's interesting. Her being forced to hide in the closet all these years is the rehearsal that she has needed for a moment like this.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And with how she's been with Nishin all that time as well, like
It has been a
keeping that
30
up.
year dress rehearsal for her moment in the
Yes.
six storyline, hasn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see where this goes. Like I say, I think it's going to be a mixture of funny, because there's already some great comedy moments coming out of this.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a year. I have to say, I do think this is going to be the 40th reveal. I think this is going to keep going now to the 40th. And I think that it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be frustrating. I think there's going to be moments of high drama, and there's going to be moments where you kind of think, "Oh, come on!" But ultimately, I think the storyline and the reveal will make it worth those moments.
And you know what? If it did, we're saying drag out until the 40th. I don't think it'd feel dragged out because there is
No,
so much potential with it.
my only thing is, I remember the Lucy storyline after the big reveal that it was Bobby.
Mm,
That kind of came off the rails a little bit in the aftermath of it. So hopefully this won't have that won't happen with this.
mm.
Because the Lucy storyline was amazing, the build up to it and the reveal and everything. That sort of reminds me of the way this has played out. But it was the aftermath that sort of went a bit odd in places. However, it's kind of been made clear that this actually is the start of this story.
Yeah,
So this is
yeah,
just the
exactly.
next chapter of the six storyline, rather than them sort of trying to kick under the water to sort of keep the momentum going for it. Like this is very much the next part of this story. I think leading into the 40th, but we'll have to wait and see for that. In terms of gold stars, I real struggle to give someone a gold star this week. Who would you give it to?
No, mine's going to
You
Linda
sorted?
this week.
Giving yours to Linda.
Linda,
Um,
100%.
I think I'm going to give mine to Denise.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Sharon.
No, Denise just made me laugh a lot this week.
Denise, Denise.
Can always get round me with making me laugh, I tell you. So there we go then.
That's true.
Linda and Denise for the gold stars this week. And we will conclude this podcast this week with some comments and reactions from you guys. So, quite a bit to read out this week. First of all, we should discuss the ratings that EastEnders got for this year's Christmas episode. It ended up getting 3.6 million on the overnights for the Christmas Day episode. Second highest rating of the year. The first highest had been the New Year's Day episode, which had got a much better slot, so that's probably why. But it was up year on year by just under 400,000 on last year's Christmas. And that should comfortably be hitting about 5 million plus once the officials start coming in. So absolutely fantastic. The past 3 years, it got 2.92 million in 2021. 3.17 million last year, and then all the way up to 3.6 million this year. So it's going in the right direction. And let me tell you, for a soap to be doing that in this day and age is unheard of. So everyone at EastEnders should be really, really, really happy with that. That is
And
great
like you
news.
just said, considering the time it was aired, that were
Yeah.
really good because it were very late. So yeah, I think that's
It
really
was
good.
the seventh most watched show of the day, I think. The ITV
Wow.
soaps didn't even get into the top 10, which is the first time that's ever happened for Corrie. So I'm sure
Oh
ITV will sort of
wow.
so I don't know
Yeah.
what ITV's reaction to that will be, but we shall see what happens next
They
year.
might
But
cancel the soap
EastEnders,
awards.
oh, they might cancel the Soap Awards. Oh, wait. Uh, so meanwhile, we've had a bit of news come in. We are going to meet Billy's estranged dad. Legendary actor Alan Ford is heading to Walford in the new year to take on the role of Stevie Mitchell. Billy Mitchell grew up in care from the age of 10 after Stevie took sole custody of his brother Charlie, and the pair last saw each other off screen over 25 years ago. Stevie will arrive in Walford as the Mitchell family prepare to say goodbye to their beloved Aunt Sal, but it soon becomes apparent that his attendance is not welcome. Alan has had an impressive career spanning over 5 decades and is known for his legendary roles across the small and silver screen, including blockbuster gangster movies Snatch, Riot Club, and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, to name just a few. That's exciting. That's a bit of great casting to go into the new year with. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, very good. Interesting that we're meeting Billy's dad this late on. So I wonder where
Yeah.
this is headed and what
I
why
mean,
the reasoning is.
well, I mean, the fact that he's not welcome. I mean, yeah, when I sent this news to you, you were kicking off because,
I'm
weren't
waiting
you?
for it.
Very objectionable about this at first, weren't you? Because,
Because I don't understand why Billy's dad is going to Aunt Sal's funeral when Aunt Sal is Peggy's sister and he didn't go to Peggy's funeral. So why is he going
because,
to Peggy's sister's funeral?
because they hadn't thought of the storyline yet, Ree. That's why.
Right, so there must be some relevance as to why he's
Yes.
going to Aunt Sal's funeral. They've got to
Well,
write that in, which is what I'm wondering.
yeah. I mean, I
How's
would
that going to
say,
happen?
well, they said that he's not welcome, so I'm assuming that will be a
Hmm.
part of this at the very least. But I'm very excited to see this because I always love a new Mitchell cog being added to the complex Mitchell machine that is his. That, they're such a fascinating family. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that play out. We have comments. So Ree, can we have our first comment, please, my darling?
Got the first one from our Instagram page from KBHSTL who says the scene of Sharon telling Suki that he would have stopped. So powerful. I was telling Sharon she was asking the wrong lady. He was not going to stop for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of thought that. I think he was. I think what we're supposed to be saying with Keanu is that he had reached the point of no return at that point. He'd lost everything, and he was just thinking, "Screw it, you can die as well." Yeah, odd. In the when you look at it in retrospect, it's sort of just like, really. But I think in the moment, I
Mm,
was that kind of wrapped up in the drama of it all. I kind of just bought it at that moment. But hey, you never know.
yeah.
Rachel Alice June says, still in shock and also so happy for everyone at EastEnders that this storyline has been perfection all the way through to tonight's episode. Gutted Danny is done on the show, but he nailed his part tonight. I was so shocked when it was Keanu. I really was. I don't think there was a part of me that was expecting it to be Keanu at all. I was so smug when Nish was lying on the floor. I was like, called it right from the moment the storyline
But you
started.
did.
I am a genius.
But you did, to be fair. It was Nish on the floor.
Yeah, but that's
He
where they
was the
got us.
body.
Yeah, but that's where they got us, wasn't it? Because obviously it was going
Mm,
to be Nish on the floor, but what else could they have thrown at it? It was very, very, very cleverly done, I have to say.
mm-hmm.
Next comment.
Neon Commando says, I think I liked the Boxing Day episode even more than Christmas Day. So great to see those six amazing actresses get to interact in such a big way. I
I
mean,
loved Boxing
yeah.
Day. I've seen a few people say they preferred Boxing Day to the actual Christmas Day episode. I loved them both, but I understand why people went for Boxing Day over Christmas Day because that was just so well written. Um, really, really like Carrie Andrews, I think, wrote Boxing Day. It was brilliant. Just that, what I loved about it was that in a plot like that, it is very, very easy for because six characters actually is quite a lot to stick in the storyline like this. And actually, what really impressed me was the way that each of those characters reacted in a way that was true to their characters. They weren't
Yeah.
just given the lines that you could have given to anybody within that scene. It wasn't just characters open their mouths and plot advancing lines came out of their mouth. They were very individual, like Stacey freaking out about Archie, Denise kind of dealing with the way that Denise does, like being sarcastic and sort of having to go at Stacey. Linda completely and utterly freaking out. Suki being the ice queen that she is. Sharon like thinking about her own history. Why didn't she want the body put in the canal? Ree, why was that?
Because of what happened with Den, Dirty Den,
Correct.
of
Ding, ding, ding,
course.
ding. That was your Christmas quiz
Oh, was that
question.
my
Yeah.
quiz
Yeah,
question?
yeah. Yeah, I like that was a great moment as well. I was like, yeah,
Also,
fair play, well done.
all of that with Keanu happened at the bottom of the stairs of the Vic. Very
Mm-hmm.
iconic place for it to have happened.
Absolutely. Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, very good. Very, very good indeed. Individual Aesthetic says, after rewatching, I genuinely find this six-story eerie. Keanu's death was brutal. It's all absolute madness, but brilliant TV. It's been written and acted so well too. The comedy in this was tasteful and fitted perfectly. Denise had me in stitches, 10 out of 10 episode. Yeah, I agree with that. I thought Boxing Day was tense and it made me emotional, especially with Stacey. I thought my heart broke for Stacey when she started having that panic attack. But there was some fantastic camp comedy. That black comedy, I think, is the term you would use to describe a lot of the stuff that was going on there, wouldn't you? It was great.
Yeah. Anna Bodro, sorry, Woodside says, so here's the thing. Stacey told Jack how she and Eve framed Theo, and I think that is really going to be important at some point down the road. It's exactly what the six then turned around to nearly immediately do after Stacey told Jack. I think all seven of the suspected dead men bodies will feature pretty prominently in this lead up to the 40th anniversary, I hear, but holes are already appearing, so yikes.
Yeah, I sort of wonder, like, I mean, obviously Rocky's done for now, so that's two off the
Mm-hmm.
list already gone, isn't it? Keanu's dead and Rocky's now
Yeah.
with the police.
Third in a
Phil,
coma.
yeah, exactly. So Nish is in a coma. He will presumably come around at some
Yeah.
point, and I'm fascinated to see where this goes with Nish now because I was that convinced he was going to be dead. I had no future plans for Nish whatsoever in terms of where he could go. But what does happen with Nish from
Maybe,
here?
well, Denise kept saying, well, what if he can hear everything we're saying right now? Maybe he
Yeah,
could. Is he going to wake up to the
yeah,
police
yeah,
and go,
yeah.
well, they were all plotting and they said this, and this, and they're all going to go, no, he didn't.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, very, very, very,
Mm.
very good. So I said on Twitter, Christmas Day night. Well, nobody saw that combination coming, and oh, how wrong I was, because I had had an email from Brandon Reed before the Christmas Day episode, and he had said, "Hey, Robin Reed, thank you so much for the effort and time put into your videos for us fans, and thank you for the incredible two-parter. It was amazing. Thank you, Brandon." My final prediction for Christmas Day goes as follows: Keanu is the dead body, Linda is the killer. Throughout this year, there have been a heavy focus on friendship and trust. Even Stacey, Jay and Gina, Alfie and Phil, etc. Even in the soundtracks you mentioned, there was a big focus on friendship and standing up for those you love. Numerous times this year, Sharon and Linda have repeatedly mentioned they are best friends. They had a spat when Linda didn't go into partnership with her in the Vic, but they reconciled and said that they were the best of friends. They both also repeated this in the toilets just before Kat appeared. So that was all about cementing their relationship. So Brandon, we applaud you. Well done, well done, well done, well done. And do you know what the best clue of all was? You might have seen this going around Twitter. The best clue,
Mm.
the
Yep.
very
I know exactly
first
what you're on
scene
about.
in the flash forward episode. Go back and have a look at it. When Linda calls last orders, first line of the episode, Linda calls last orders for the bell tolls because she rings the bell and then she goes straight along to Keanu and touches his shoulder. They told
Yep.
us from the start who it was going to be. I love things like that.
Very
Absolutely
clever.
fantastic.
Another
So
one, Rob. Sorry.
yes, go on.
Another one, though, that I think you'll appreciate. Remember Rob saying that Anna being a detective was going to be somehow relevant?
Yes.
Well, we've actually had a DM from somebody on Instagram who said, this is from Glenn, Anna's detective scene solved. At Halloween, when Anna dressed up as a detective called Violet Rox Hanson, we knew it had meaning.
Mm.
Violet Rox Hanson is an anagram of Sharon Violent X.
Shut up.
So there you
Oh,
go.
I'll take that. I'll take that as my credit. Thank you very
Oh,
much
you're going
indeed.
to take
Thank you.
credit for that
I'll
one.
take credit for that one. Thank you very much. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's mad. That's absolutely mad. Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
mental. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love this story. That what a satisfying payoff as well. I think the danger was with a story that's been built up through 10 months, because actually on paper, that's madness. To build up for a story and keep it going for 10 whole months before you reveal what is actually going to happen. that could so easily fall flat on its arse, but they nailed the landing and then some, didn't they?
Yeah. Yes. And some.
Really, and then some. And God knows where we go from here, because that was the last episode of 2023. Next episode of EastEnders we watch will be in 2024 on New Year's Day, and I cannot wait to watch it. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, and we will be back in 2024 as well, don't you worry, I'm going to do that in a moment. But before I show you something new that we're going to have for next year, you can get in touch with us by doing the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark. Find us on all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20afterdark.
And let me just add to that. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for all the support and all the views you have given us. We have climbed up the Apple podcast rankings for this week's episodes. And if you could, as you're watching on YouTube, just click the subscribe button. We are nearly at 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to be there.
Help.
It would really help. The bigger we get, the better we get. We've got plans for this podcast that we can do if we get bigger. So please just click subscribe, and we'd love you forever. Thank you very much. So this is the last episode of Albert Square After Dark of the year, and we have watched Sharon's calendar all throughout the year. But the Sharon calendar is now no more, because my clever co-host, my clever little co-host, has made me a new calendar, which she has just arrived as we were recording today. I've not seen this, so I'm going to open it now.
Oh, suspense.
So you made this calendar?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I picked all of the photos, etc. So fingers crossed it's worked out okay. Because I have no idea what it actually looks like.
Right, hang on a minute.
I had I had things in mind, but I've stuck with a classic is what I'm going to say.
Hang on.
Yes, I think so.
Open. Right,
and I think
here we go.
Agree.
I will find out now.
And the suspense is killing us. Rob can't open it.
Cardboard's killing me as well. Oh, yeah.
Why not, eh?
It's only Peggy.
Who is it?
Peggy.
Peggy.
It's Peggy. Oh, I love it. Well done. That's great. What a great opening picture for it as well. Let's get that on the wall.
I had many choices. I couldn't. No, it's not January yet. You'll get bad luck.
Is that how that works? Is that the superstition? Is it?
It does now. Yes.
All right. Well, that will be going. The next calendar officially revealed will be the Peggy Mitchell calendar for 2024, and we will be getting a new Peggy on the wall every single month throughout 2024. Perfect. Thank you very, very much indeed, Ree. I absolutely love it. And that is it for 2023. Thank you genuinely for all your views, all your listens, all your comments, all your support. We couldn't have done it without you. And here's to another year of Albert Square After Dark. Until then, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.